Hello,
Hey,
Dirks.
hey everyone.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I should warn you that I've been nodding, having an insomniac problem, and for once I've actually been nodding off during the day today.
Wow.
So I'm on fourth cup of coffee in a row. This could be very good or very bad. Let's wait and see.
Let's wait and see. Earl doesn't usually drink coffee. So
I
this
don't
is
usually I don't usually panic with insomnia either. I'm not the sort of person who nods off during the day. But today has been that day, of course, because we've got a live arranged, and I'm not going to sort of bow out on it again because we all have so many issues that one of us
Mhm.
has always got something. I mean, Tanga's not here at the moment, but hopefully she'll be back in a while.
TJ
TJ has
too.
got things going on, so we're doing the best that we can. And
We got,
Haven is in the chat. Hey, Haven.
Hey, hey,
we
hey.
got nine lives Mama, who's been a member for 9 months, and
Wow.
we've got Stars over here coming in with her 10-month membership. Love my jerks, she says. Thank you,
Love
lady.
you,
And we love
stars.
Stars, and we really, seriously, she does so much for us, and he's always been such a support and such an honest support, and we really appreciate you, Stars.
Look at
We got,
Mass King.
yep, coming in at another 10-month member right there. Thank you, Mazakeen, for
I,
supporting.
Another
I
jerk.
really want to shout y'all out that have stayed members with us. I can't believe we've been
Since
here.
the beginning, yeah.
Um, it's I'm going to mention this briefly, but it's been a year on June 12th that our world kind of blew up with the other channel, and we created this one, which I think we're working on something, aren't we, for the year anniversary?
We're,
Should I think
we're
so?
going to try.
We love you, Archangel.
Yes, thank you
Kraken,
for
I've
being
been
a
looking
member.
for you. Where have you been?
Hey, Kraken.
Super's ready to send out the search party.
Swear.
Speaking of searches, I just saw the title of Ziggy's live. Apparently, something's going on at
Um,
Warriors Park. There's a
I
fire.
wouldn't
And for
listen to
some
Ziggy.
reason, she's decided to title it, Is It to Do with Summer? Well, the answer to that is no.
No.
Any question that Ziggy answered that asks in the thumbnail with the question mark, the answer is no. It's always,
So
is
early this
so
morning.
responsible for Summer's disappearance? Question mark. No. But she's going to
No.
talk about it for 2.5 hours.
Yes, that part, yes. But early this morning, if y'all don't know by now, uh, Warriors Path, the stables caught on fire. I'm thinking 5:30 is what the news said. They do. They haven't said why yet. I think they're investigating as to why. That is changing by the anything could have came through by now. But tomorrow is 3 years. Summer went missing, so this happening has got a lot of people, I guess, speculating.
Yeah, we're not a Summer Wells channel. We've never really covered. We've definitely never covered her on
Mm-mm.
this channel, and we briefly had a discussion on a true crime channel that we had attached to the earlier Jerk channel. But
Hurt.
it is the disappearance of Summer Wells was the sparking incident that led us all to being in the same chat and getting to know each other, and as a result, we always sort of keep eyes on anything new that comes out. And to be honest, there is nothing new. Everybody's just picked their fighter and taking sides. Nobody really knows anything other than she disappeared on June 15th, the 100 block of Ben Hill Road. Other than that, everything is speculation. And now it's 3 years.
Thank you, Josh B. So I
Josh
love the
being very
jerk.
sweet.
Pearl, you're still his hero today. And the one and only Good Soup. Good to see you all, Bugsy and Eliza. Thank you. Hey, Dick, there's Simmer. Sinner. Hey, Dictum.
Hey, Sinner. Hey, Earth.
It's so weird calling her Ert now. It
I
started out
love
as
calling
a
it
joke.
Earth.
I know you do. But yeah, that's why we're all here. Essentially, that's how it started. I don't know how to say that without. I never want to say anything wrong when it comes to Summer. You know what I mean?
No, we're not claiming that somebody gave us our lifelong friendship like some people claim that somebody gave them their new marriage.
Yeah.
I would have more dignity than that and more respect for a missing little girl, but each to their own. It's a never-ending rolling shit show over there, so nothing will surprise me anymore. Although I must admit, I did not see the whole Justin was going to officiate at the wedding,
Ah,
then didn't, and had a private phone call to Jam. Did not see that coming.
I
That
didn't
was
either.
that was interesting new gossip, wasn't it?
I
Um,
died when he said,
kind of sad that he didn't do it. I mean, I understand why he didn't, and more power to him. But it would have been that extra touch to that sort of Amish wedding photo to have had Justin there in his designer outfit and his makeup on. Meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. Amish are there, as if it's just any average Wednesday afternoon. It would have been quite the thing. Never mind. Did I
Why
lose
so?
everybody?
Why would you want another YouTube creator to marry you?
Because
What
in all
would be
these
the
things, she's
purpose of that?
thinking about the book,
the
this
book.
mythical book that she's going to write, or mythical Netflix series, and it will just be that extra twist of spice to it. And a fellow YouTuber was the officiant at our wedding.
I wonder how he broke it to her. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for that conversation, the whole thing, like her
Hi, Ziggy.
asking.
I would love to officiate at your wedding, but unfortunately, I'm due to be slipping into a coma in the next 40 minutes, and I'm going to be out for about a week. So I'll catch up with the other side. But I can feel it coming over me now. Ugh.
I mean, I am no big fan of Justin, but I don't blame him for saying, I got to give him respect for saying no, and not just going along with it because that's his friend. If you don't feel good about it, then why would you officiate the wedding? Hey, Nico.
Hey, Nico.
But
Hey,
yeah,
Nico.
that was an interesting argument. Before we get into the topics, Justin was crying and snotting on the mic.
That was so gross.
It was a real thing. I mean, he was upset. Luminous, we've dealt with her before. She is a strong Ziggy windmiller. She gets up early in the morning and gets her arms going just in case. And I take it she was one of the mods that got a lot of this. She set it off. She came into, she's a mod for Ziggy, but she came into Justin's, and I was watching from the bushes. Okay. The clouds or the bushes is where I stay in some of those chats. And she come flying in there, had her little arms ready, and she said, Ziggy has feelings. Doesn't her feelings matter? And Justin said, you know what? You started a lot of this. You can go. Kind of reminded me of when Ken kicked Kyle out of his house. Get out of my house, Kyle. It was kind of like that. You can go.
Some of them are really hardcore windmillers. You'd think that Ziggy was some delicate little flower who doesn't do any doxing or screaming through her mic at people, as if she's always some fragile little sort of petal who is going to be damaged by the wrong breath from somebody. No, she gives as good as she gets, and quite often she gives more than she gets. So your windmilling is disproportionate. I actually saw the screenshot where one of the mods in Ziggy's was saying that mods in other chats should stop people commenting on Ziggy in other chats because it's wrong.
I saw that too.
As if there's ever any sort of stopping comments about other people in Ziggy's chat. No, you always want, it's never the balance of rights and responsibilities. It's all rights and no responsibility. They just want everything their own way.
Yeah.
I saw the comment about Lally is allegedly resting on Tuesday. Lally is exactly how I felt all day. I've had the enthusiasm and inspiration of prosecutor Lally, and that is why I've been necking coffee, because the last thing that you will need to do is listen to somebody else being a Lally on the microphone. Oh Lord, he is tedious. I didn't even
that's
cap
the one.
the afternoon. He's the prosecution, the balding guy with the gelled up bit at the front.
This is
the,
why Pearl is tired now.
this
Yes.
is drove her insane. Yesterday wasn't good for her on
Oh,
Karen Reed, and this guy talking literally makes her. It drives her nuts.
and I gather that
What, if anything, drives Pearl crazy?
yes, as pertains to my tiredness with regards to prosecutor Lally, what, if anything, can I do about it? Nothing, unfortunately. I just need him to get to the end of his case and sit down, and then the excitement crew can come in, because Action Jackson, Action Jackson, and Yannetti are like some sort of Avengers like tag team. Frankly, I could listen to them read the phone book out.
I enjoyed watching today at the end when
I didn't catch it, but I gather that there's been some fuckery again.
yeah, about late stuff, but he gets up and he's so passionate about his stuff, that the judge tells him, well, no, you can't, don't talk like that, And then Lolly tried it. What did he say? Ambush or something like that, or he said something else.
I don't know.
I
Damn,
can't
it's
remember.
putting the
But
people to sleep, though, y'all. Like,
Yeah.
this trial is really putting people to sleep today.
well, because it's been testimony about DNA, or sorry, electronic data.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah,
The only thing that has raised any interest from me is the constant frustration at the way the prosecution have limited the amount of information. Now, normally the prosecution case, they will test without the bounds. They will try to get every piece of information possible and work
Right.
from there. Here, it has strangely been extremely limited. The woman who gave evidence about Google searches on phones was incredibly restricted to certain times and
Yes.
certain people. It wasn't a widespread look at the whole sort of interactions that day. It was really kept tight because they were trying to make a point. Ironically, a point that has nothing to do one way or another with Karen Reid's guilt, but has everything to do with whether other people are implicated in some sort of cover up. The prosecution seemed fascinated in dealing with that, in trying to protect all these other people.
Yeah.
They're damaging their own case by doing it. So again, the controversial "How's long to dying cold" search that everyone maintains happened hours before John O'Keefe was found in the snow. They're trying to make some point about you can't prove that it happened then. Okay, and that implicates Karen Reid in exactly what way? Why are you concentrating on this? You're more interested in defending these witnesses than you are actually prosecuting your case. And that in itself leads me to believe that there is some sort of cover up going on. Your attempts to say there's no cover up make me more suspicious of a cover up than anything else. And then you have Proctor. And oh, what a mess that was. 16 hours after they found John O'Keefe's body, he'd already decided
He solved the case.
he'd solved the case, that it was just Karen Reid, all the reports he'd heard, by which Reid, comments from friends of his sister, and other people in the Boston police force associated with the house outside which John O'Keefe's body was discovered. 16 hours, and he's already, she's a cunt, she's a whack job, she killed him, she's going down, she's not skated, and then all the personal abuse of her character
Yeah.
and her ailments. And what gets me is like, this is the guy, let me just put this guy here Okay? What you get if you order Tom Cruise off Temu, the hair comes separate, has the nerve to talk about the woman that he's meant to be investigating. There are no mirrors in Trooper Proctor's house. He somehow feels that he's like Mission Impossible lead character, and he's free to talk as hard man and as down and dirty as he wants to, and there'll never be any comeback. And do you know what's going to happen now? This man is in charge of the investigation into the murder of Anna Walsh. I don't know if you remember that case. She was the Serbian wife of an American guy who just disappeared one night from the house. And then the body was found in the dumpster. And then he's another genius. His laptop was full of things like how long until body smells, 10 ways to get rid of body if you need to, this sort of thing. These were all his actual Google searches. This guy, Proctor, was in charge of the investigation. And how do you think that's going to work now?
Yeah, he didn't look anywhere.
Carry on, darling.
He didn't look anywhere else for any other possibility than what he decided or what he said happened. And then they designed their case all around that without considering any other possibilities. And they say that they go where the evidence leads them. How did John O'Keefe, how did his body lead them to that conclusion?
It couldn't
without
possibly.
even exploring any other thing. It just does not make sense.
At the stage when he said all that, they didn't even have the vehicle. They didn't have any of these multitudinous searches that happened in the days and up to a week later when all these bits of tail light were found. There was almost no evidence other than the opinion of some people that Karen was responsible. When he saw John O'Keefe's body at the hospital, he said that he thought that this guy looked beat up.
Right.
The prosecution was it 8 weeks in? No, I can't remember. I think it's 8 weeks in. They've had over 60 witnesses. They have still yet to tell me how exactly Karen Reid used that car that they say is the murder weapon to murder John O'Keefe.
Well, did you hear the accident testimony, the accident expert or whatever you call him?
I did not. That happened this afternoon, and I've got to catch up on it. I know that there was he was sort of hard line on it, and then there were real question marks, but I've got to go back and I must admit, I've not seen that. I've watched every bit of the trial exactly as it happened until today when I had a really bad day and was doing the whole nodding thing. So no, I didn't.
He conducted some tests, showing the backup camera and what it could see and all of this. And then they did some acceleration and braking tests with the vehicle and stuff, but all done at the police, yard in that, not where this allegedly happened. The other problem that I had with it was that it was done in broad daylight. So what you're seeing in broad daylight on a backup camera, we all have them on our cars.
Yeah.
It looks different. What you could see in great daylight,
without snow,
looks very different than what you see at night, on a night that it's snowing heavily. So you don't even have a moon. I would have liked to have seen what could be seen on that backup camera in the area that they allege that he was hit on a night without a moon.
Because this is the thing, they're going beyond the idea that she hit him with the car. They're murder too. They're going for intent, that she intended.
I think that even got said today, that, deliberate. And I was like, hey, what? Because I missed different portions today because I had appointments. But
I have never understood that charging. Even if they genuinely believe that she did it, I find it impossible to believe that they can prove intent. I just don't see it.
I think that's what they're trying to prove by trying to show what can be seen on the backup camera and saying that, that it wasn't an accident, that she could see him on the backup camera, and that this was deliberate. I believe that's what they were
Yeah. And we'll
trying.
prove it by doing it in daylight in a different place. Okay, then.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So
a
the
mess. I
judge,
can't wait to get to the defense case. And I tell you now, after all these weeks of the prosecution droning on and taking their time when things could, I seriously, if I see the outside of that house one more time, if I see the same images of snow on the ground and the flagpole one more time, it's just constantly banging on about the same things. If Auntie Bev, as they called the judge, for some reason connected with text messages that she might know somebody associated with the case, in case you think that I'm just disrespecting her for the sake of it, there is a reason. The judge, Beverly Canoni, if she rushes through the defense after the way that she has allowed the prosecution to waste time, then you will never be able to convince me that she's not biased.
well, they ended up having to. Pollyanna, thank you for being a member for 9 months.
Oh, wow. Thank
They
you, Polly.
they ended up having to end early to I can't say that word right. Vord.
Voir dire.
Yes.
What?
Voir dire.
What?
It's a French term. It means testing your word. It's like
Yeah.
it's the same one that they use when people when you do your PhD in academia, the verbal sort of examination of your research is called voir dire as well.
So
Um,
they ended early because they needed to do that with the accident guy that was testifying, because
they send the jury out and they do this voir dire, which is essentially a testing of the words, which means going over the testimony, a rehearsal almost, so the judge can see where it's going and what's happening before she allows the jury to see it. It's when there's some sort of sticking point between the prosecution and the defence, and the judge is not absolutely convinced which way to rule. So she sort of sees a mini run through of what it is they intend to do, and then she decides whether or not it can actually come into the trial and the jury can see it.
So what she decided after that, she did not make a decision. She said she'll make it on Monday, but she wanted to take home the defense's video, where they have zoomed in on that John's tire, where she hits the car, or I say she hits the car because it very much to me looks like she bumped his car.
Well, that car moves. Why
Right.
would that car suddenly spontaneously move at the point where she's backing up? Unless there was contact, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. The
Nobody was in the
prosecution is
vehicle.
alleging that just didn't happen, that it doesn't, and snow moving and stuff. So she was taking the prosecution's video and the defense's video, and going to take those and study them over the weekend.
She
So I
better not
think
come back and try and strike out that video of the
I
how
don't
car
think she's
hit
going
his
to,
car.
because they made it clear that is not an enhanced video. It is only close up of the
Yeah.
prosecution's video. So I don't think it didn't seem like she was going to. It seemed very much like it was probably going to come in, where it hadn't the other day when they tried it, remember? So I think it may be coming in the defense's version as well. So I thought that was a good thing, but yeah.
And we lost another juror today.
Yeah, do you know any details about that?
What?
I was trying to look to see whether, I mean, when I say I looked on Twitter, that makes it sound as if I'm just interested, because there's lots of actual attorneys covering this on Twitter. I was trying to discover what exactly happened. Now, that whole section, everybody agrees that the main reason that the cameras were shut down and that the jury was ultimately let go was because the jury was seen on the live feed, and obviously that is threatening to a juror. So the juror was let go. But why that juror was coming into the courtroom to actually be in the sidebar, that's how they were caught on camera. What was the reason for that? Now, I've seen people say that it's a personal issue. This juror has something going on in their life, and that was the reason that they were let go. And unfortunately, they were seen on camera, which doubly made it, regardless of the fact that they said that they needed to be let go. Once they were seen on camera, it was a done deal. And other people have said that this person was actually in the Waterfall Bar and Grill, perhaps doing a little bit of their own research. I hope that's not the case, because
See, I had heard a rumor or something like that, but I just didn't know if it was like something that was put on the record.
I have not seen anything on the record, but I imagine that within a few days it will come out. Somebody will find out exactly what it was. And somebody that I trust as a reliable narrator,
Right.
not just random comments on Twitter. But yeah, that's another juror down.
Yeah, so we're at 15 now.
Yeah. And still majority women. I still think it will be an acquittal.
I do too. I mean,
they were trying to sort of muddy the waters with some of the last 2 days have probably been better days for the prosecution than the prosecution have had so far, but that's not saying a lot. I don't believe that the people are that dedicated to following the technical information. It just doesn't. It does not seem significant enough to me. The significant things will always be how soon to die in cold, the search
Right.
before they even find his body.
Right.
The police officer from a separate section who has to go with the investigators because it's out of area to Karen's parents' home in order for the warrant to be served to take the SUV into custody. And he says he saw a cracked tail light with a small piece missing. And then you have all these multitude of pieces that are found at the scene of John O'Keefe's death. Those two things can not both be true. The vehicle was taken into custody, obviously, after John died. He said that he saw a cracked tail light with one small piece missing. If that is true, how is it possible that all those big pieces that they found over several days at the site where John O'Keefe's body was found, how can those two things be true? It's not possible. So then you have to decide who has the benefit from what they're saying.
Right. Who do you believe?
There is no benefit in lying to the guy who was just there to oversee the pickup of the car.
Right.
He has no part in this game whatsoever. No connection, no extra grind, no side. He turned up as a police officer. He oversaw them taking the car. That was it. He came into the trial and he gave his evidence, and Lally shut him down almost immediately that he said that, and the defence didn't cross him because they were quite happy with that as evidence. No need to question that.
Right.
These are the things. It doesn't come down to all this technical stuff. It's as simple as, how is that possible?
Right. I assume that the jurors have common sense, I don't know. Does the prosecution think that people are believing all of this? If it was just like one thing or two things, you might be like, okay, maybe. But an overwhelming amount of fuckery. I can't think of a better way to put it. There's so much that just doesn't make sense. It defies logic.
When will this be over?
Hopefully at the end of the month. But that's what the judge says. But it might be. I think it might be mid-July. I don't know. I don't think the defense is going to drag it out. Honestly, I was thinking about this morning, and I almost think that they're not going to, but I think the defense could get away with, when the prosecution rests, them resting, saying that.
I think that they could. I don't think they will.
Right.
I kind of hope that they don't, because I really want to see their sort of the product of their research, but before the court. But technically they could. I don't believe the prosecution has proved its case whatsoever. But I hope that the defence do at least go forward with their evidence.
I believe they
Um,
will, but I was just thinking though, at this
they
point, I
could, yeah.
feel like they could probably rest and get an acquittal, but that's just me.
I mean, I know it's a technicality that they do in all cases. At this stage, when when the prosecution rests, the defence usually makes the move to say, can it be dismissed because they've not sort of met their case, and
Right.
usually it's a
Usually gets
technicality and
denied.
it's refused, and then
Yeah.
everything carries on. But with a different judge, I could honestly see the circumstance where they would say, "Yeah, I don't see it either. I don't think the prosecution has met its case." I still personally can't believe that this came to court. It just feels like there were so many personal axes to grind in this case. Um,
It's
yes, very strange.
the more they talk, the more they uncover about how I don't find them trustworthy.
When Proctor, Mr. sort of Timu Tom Cruise, when he was giving evidence and he was trying to do all this sort of waving of hands, no, I barely know these people. Yeah, my sister's friends with the McCabe's, but I don't know them. And yes, I kind of know some of the Alberts. And then the bombshell arrives. He only
Right?
spoke about 3 of the Alberts. And then it turns out he'd actually worked on a cold case with Kevin Albert. And they, for several weeks, maybe even months, I didn't catch exactly how long the time, but sufficient. And that they went and got absolutely plastered drunk in a police cruiser to the point where, so Officer Albert, didn't know that he had lost his badge and wasn't completely sure where his gun was, and that Proctor had to say, "Oh, hey, I've got your badge. Where do you want me to drop it off?" And then he tried to say, "Yes, that did happen, but they weren't drunk." And then the text messages come up where Officer Albert is saying, "I was definitely hungover today," with lots of exclamation marks about what a tough day he'd had. And then "I need a few later, just to sort of make everything
Hair
better."
of the dog.
Hair of the dog, yeah. All of them are drink driving all the time. And yet they're trying to make out that sort of Karen Reid is the only person who had a drink and got into her car. And everybody else is like a bunch of polished angels. Uh,
No, it seems that their whole group finds that socially acceptable.
yes, no problem whatsoever. Plastered drunk in a police cruiser to the point where you don't even know that you left your badge and your gun behind.
Mm-mm-mm. Well, she might be all right then. I don't know. I mean, this ain't looking or sounding good to me. This case is a mess. What state is this in?
Massachusetts.
I can't say that word. Never could. I don't know what it is about it.
I found it incredibly telling that one of the people who is probably that I know of, who's probably most pro the way that cases are, a sort of
Okay.
person that you wouldn't hear talking down about cases, which is Chasing, Tracy Ann Chasing. When people started saying they thought there was a conspiracy, she had no problem believing that was a possibility. She lives in that state.
Oh, wow.
Oh yes, she does. Yeah. Yeah, same Remy. I can't I'll just say mass because I sound like an ass trying to say the rest. Oh God. I watched that bullies in high school end up being a cop. I hate to admit, but that's true.
You see,
Yep.
one of the issues with people joining the police force, same reason that you have a problem with people going into politics, is that it attracts 2 type of people. The people who truly want to use that role to help the majority of people, and those who are in it for the power. Um, the the attraction of being in a powerful situation over people. Oh, she grew up there. She doesn't live there now. Thank you for that correction, Cammy. I appreciate it. I'm again, the accent when she loses her temper is what immediately throws me. I always think of her as being very much rooted in there, but apparently she lives elsewhere now. Yeah, anything where you have a role of power that can be used for good or evil attracts both types of people. Now, the problem with politics is that people go into it with the best intention. And I'm saying from my experience of watching local politics, people go into it often with the best of intention. And uh, by a process of having to compromise and work with people that they would not normally want to associate with, because unfortunately local politics means you have to work with your political opponents. The intention that they came into politics with gets compromised. And also power
Every
corrupts.
time.
They get a bit of power and they love it and they don't feel that they're fallible in any way. And the same is true for the police force. There are lots of people who go into it because that role of wanting to help and protect their community. And sometimes it's that they get worn down and compromised over the years. And sometimes they've gone into it from the get-go for the power. They want to be that man with the badge and a gun that you have to listen to because I'm a cop. It attracts the best and the worst. And I don't know quite how you make that any different.
Yeah, that's a hard
Yeah, that's
line to
been,
walk.
it is. That's been
Yeah.
a problem for years and years, you know? And
Mhm.
it's sad because there are so many good police officers out there, you know, but
Who's
it's
You could say
sick?
the same with the church as well.
right.
Me, who's
Religion
sick?
is very much the same.
Who's C? Please pray if you do for C. I don't know who C is, hon. But sorry.
Please let us know who C is, Cammy, if you can. We're not sure who that is. If get Bugsy the Outlaw on it, she's the girl with the hotline.
Oh,
Oh,
her
chasing
dog.
Slaughter. What's happening?
Oh, that's right. I did see that community post. Oh my goodness.
I
What?
didn't know anything happened. I'm sorry for mentioning
She
chasing. If there's an issue, I did not know.
No, you
Chasing's
didn't.
daughter, Chasing posted a post for asking for prayers and good wishes for her daughter who was attacked by a
Oh
dog that she was,
God.
and she's she got hurt pretty bad.
I hate that.
Yeah,
God, I hate that.
it's on her community wall. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
want
looking.
because I don't want to go off the top of my head. I read it the other day, and I
Yeah.
don't want to get something like that wrong. I just know that she was attacked with dogs that she works with or walks, you know, for her job or something.
Mm-hmm.
And one of
Yeah,
them just flipped out then.
yeah. One of
Um,
them just
well, I hope
that's
that
what happened.
it's all things that can be helped with surgery, and she can get back to as complete a recovery as possible. I don't know how serious it is, but if prayers are
I'll
needed,
read it
it
to
must be
you.
pretty serious.
I'm gonna read you her
Yeah,
community.
read it.
Yeah. From 2 days ago, she said, y'all, we need healing prayers. Alexa was attacked badly by one of the dogs she walks at work, arm and leg, deep tissue wounds. She's home now. A lot of follow up needed and wound care, ortho and physical therapy, eventually plastic surgery. Damn. Her daughter's so pretty. I'm sorry, Chasing.
Oh well, I hope that they can sort of get the healing and sort of any sort of therapeutic work to make sure that she has complete use of both limbs. I'm incredibly grateful that there's no good dog attack. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Her injuries are serious. I'm not trying to downplay them at all. What I'm saying is, I'm incredibly grateful that it didn't affect her head and her neck, because if you have anything that affects your sight, your hearing, anything that would need extensive plastic surgery, that is so fundamentally damaging to people's ability to live everyday life. I am so glad that there were no injuries there, but I'm not underplaying the fact that she's seriously injured. And I really hope she has complete, full healing and range of movement back,
Yeah. Yeah,
especially
Michelle.
with her being so young.
Yeah. Hey, Irish badass. Now, Pearl, you see the screen here? Josh,
Josh.
being a big Pearl and Soup super fan, do they sell autographed T-shirts? Well, I can. I'll have mine framed,
so?
not a Fruit Loop. I'm a 36-year-old. Yay!
That's a
single.
good idea.
That's actually a good idea. We'll
like
get you.
that.
We'll get you fixed up, Josh.
You are very sweet, Josh B. Thank you. You are very, very sweet.
Yes.
So you're making an old bitch very happy.
No, Kimmy, you didn't take over. I'm glad you told us.
Yeah.
Seriously, Cammy, we're
Thank you.
not that sort of show. If something comes up in the
I
chat,
appreciate
we're
that,
quite happy
Cammy.
to talk about it. And I tell you now, if you want somebody to intercede with the man upstairs, Bugsy is your girl. She is like, she's got all the ins. The power of her prayer, I would not underestimate it.
She takes it to the Lord in prayer. She takes it. She does.
You bet I do.
Yep.
So I guess I'm gonna have to work on some autographed T-shirts for the merch shop, huh?
Yes.
Easily
This
be
type
done.
of stuff. Eliza is so good with the merch too. She does.
I love that
Great.
idea.
Yeah.
A
Give
super
me a week.
Pearl
Give me
thong,
a week. It'll be there.
Irish. I don't
That
think
ain't
we've
gonna
got any
happen.
thongs.
No, we
need
don't sell
floss
thongs.
underwear.
We do not sell thongs. No,
Mm.
we're not that kind of show.
Well, you know.
Oh
We could
boy.
Apparently, on Soup's OnlyFans page, you could contact her there.
Only feeds.
Oh, then those are different thongs altogether.
Yes. Australian thongs is their term for flip flop.
Yep. Flip flop.
Actually, we could start using that for some of the people in this community who are flip flops. You're a complete thong.
Hey, Tennessee, Southern Hill.
I like it.
I hope I said that right.
You did. You sure did.
Irish Badass made a very good point.
Or I don't care if you're here.
Irish Badass, one of the funniest things over the last 2 years of us being involved in a couple of channels with Jerks somewhere in the title,
Irish
first
Badass.
Circle Jerk and then The Jerks, is the amount of people who go, oh, the jerk offs, oh, Circle Jerk, do they even know what that means? No, we just spontaneously pulled it out of the air. We didn't possibly think, hey, let's get something with a double meaning, both the whole sort of wankfest element and also the socio-political meaning of people who agree with each other. We had no knowledge of any of that when we picked the names. We certainly didn't think people would joke about it and keep repeating it.
No, we never thought about it.
No, we never ever thought. It didn't cross our minds. We're such plain, simple, sweet little old ladies. We never imagined.
Mary Poppins type, right?
Yeah, Mary Poppins. We're a bunch of Mary Poppinses.
Huh.
We're all
Speaking
English
of-
and we're all soccer mums. All the usual bullshit that people say. No, we had no idea what the word jerk
I
meant.
love you. Or shut
Speaking-
up.
I'm shocked.
Speaking of jerks and Mary Poppins and all, you know, Ziggy was on Dolly's Island, Turtle
I
Island,
missed it. Yeah.
the other
I
day,
heard.
and I wasn't aware, but somebody made me aware that she was on there and she needed to get voted off. So a couple of us got on the phone and called him up, and I still don't think Dolly got it when, you know, he asked me for my reasons for my vote.
And you said I'm a jerk.
First off, yeah, I said, first of all, I'm a jerk.
I'm a
Second
jerk.
of all, did you see her naked island? And third of all,
Naked Island.
it's just not in the cards for her.
I
It was
missed
a great phone call. It was just punchline, punchline, punchline. Goodbye. It was just the best. If everybody else could do that, Dolly's show would be far more entertaining.
Oh, I bet
Yes,
they get on
Jimmy
there.
Buckley here. Poor
Yeah.
Jimmy Buckley. We've had him in the cellar now for 2 years. He's been
Yes.
totally brainwashed. We take it in turns. We send 6 in, and then TPE, and then we go in. And
You got to
he
keep
just
the brainwashing fresh.
yeah.
You do. You don't want them to become deprogrammed at any moment.
And
Everyone give
TPE,
Ert some
Tragedy Pimps
love.
Exposed, is your girl. If you want to catch up all the ins and outs of the gossip of what went down with Justin and Ziggy, Tragedy Pimps Exposed is your girl.
Oh, Grandma
Um,
Sugar, I
we're
love
also
it.
going to have, saving you from making me snort laugh in public. I have a reputation for it. I'm so proud. I love it when people. Breege is the one that amuses me because Breege, our wonderful Irish lady who's been a friend of the channel from day one,
Yeah.
and we adore her. In fact, we adore all our Irish contingent. Breege, Michelle,
I love
where are
that.
you? We get your little furry arse in here.
We miss
Um,
you, we.
We do
Yeah,
miss you
where
very,
are
very
you?
much.
I
Oh,
love
apparently,
the Irish. They are some of the funniest. I ain't met one I ain't liked yet.
And they're always just talking about a wee little thing.
It's
I love
always we. That I swear, it's always a wee little thing. It's
well,
so
Breege likes to go out for her long walk early in the morning through the Irish countryside. And the worst thing for her is when she occasionally meets somebody as she's laughing to herself because she's got us on her earbuds. She'll sort of watch us as replay crew and nobody can see. And so suddenly, this woman who's walking in the middle of nowhere in Ireland, somebody comes across her and she's giggling to herself. And she'll go, "You had me in fits this morning." I can't do the accent. "You had me in fits this morning, and I came across the local postwoman or whatever." So Breege is getting a reputation as a woman who laughs to herself while walking through the countryside. We're sorry, Breege. We love you.
I love that she's happy while she's walking.
Yes.
So what was our second part? Man versus bear again.
Oh, man versus bear. Now, listen, we're not rehashing the original Who Would You Choose, the man or the bear. This has gone on from there. As you know, we did a little bit in the show and we showed some TikTok videos. Well, now it's very much become a male dominated conversation. And I'm cool with that because that's where the conversation needs to go.
It
But
does.
the men are, yeah, there's some really emotional guys about this. Everybody going on about the logic of women choosing the bear, but the real emotionalism is coming from the other side of the fence. Can you screen share that, darling, if I give you the link?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me just grab that. We definitely need to stop a few times in this, mostly because if we wait until the end, it's going to be like nearly 15 minutes of this before we get to chatting. So if we can break it up a little bit. There will be natural points where you just want to say something because some of these guys. So the final say, man versus bear.
The final say. Give me a second.
I think some of the problem is the way that the question has been repeated, that people seem to think that it's guaranteed that you will see the bear or see the man. No, the original question was, you're in the forest and somewhere in the forest there's a random man or a random bear. Which would you choose? It's not guaranteed that you're going to meet any of them. It's all about your psychological feelings of what you would rather have as a known or unknown factor. But it's been repeated so wrong, and immediately people are like, "Well, you choose the man. It could be a nice man. It could be a man that you know. No, it's a random man somewhere in the woods."
Yeah, keep that in mind. Now here we go. And look at Gregor already, black or brown bear. I swear.
You don't get to know.
Wait for the comments. Hold on. I need to hear the whole story. I feel like there's a lot we're missing and we shouldn't put it out there to ruin this bear's future. What was he wearing? Why was he there alone? I mean, what did he say to make the bear attack him like that? Why did the man go to the bear's home? Bears, bears will be bears. I love the internet so much. The bear's dad went to school.
I said that last week. I hate that saying, boys will be boys. I hate that. I'm glad somebody put the bears will be bears.
With my uncle, and he said the bear is a good bear and wouldn't do that. Okay, but I saw him talking to that bear at the party last night, so which is it? I would just let you read the rest of these. The savagery of the last one. How do we know he didn't enjoy it? Oh! Okay, I want to quickly address this comment right here because whenever someone is injured ever, we hope and pray, obviously, that they have a healthy and speedy recovery. There's the sanctity of human life. Anyways, the reason why the comments are so, and I'll put in quotations, funny is because they're an example of the absurdity when you just change a couple words in victim blaming. So when we blame a woman for, and I won't say it because of the algorithm, for an essay case that happens against her, all of the sentences that are frequently said about women and that question whether or not it happened, whether or not she enjoyed it, what was she doing there in the first place? Well, I saw her talking to the man. When you replace that word with bear and you see sentences that become so astronomically absurd, that's where the quote comedy lies, because it's actually just a really sad reflection of reality.
Man or the bear? The man or the bear?
Oh, just wait. It gets worse.
I first saw a woman say that, and I stupidly thought she was being original.
Did you walk outside your house, slip on some ice, hit your head on the doorknob, and lose some fucking brain cells?
But obviously not, because all of you just repeat the same fucking talking points on this app. None of you are free thinkers.
Does your Facebook search history have all your ex-girlfriends on it?
Can I tell y'all how much I'm sick of that free thinker thing being used? Anytime you don't agree with somebody, they go for that.
I mean, he's obviously a free thinker. I mean, he's wearing a hat inside his own house. What is wrong with you?
Reminds me of my neighbor.
I was going to say, when you stopped, I thought you were going to say, heck, I thought that was my neighbor. Mr. Ohio hat wearer himself.
Yes.
The bane of Soup's life. He's that man. He's that guy who, the minute he sees a neighbor leave their house, he's out there having a conversation. He's that guy.
I run from him.
And he's a hat wearer.
Yes. With socks up to his knees. But yeah, here we go.
None of you have a brain cell that's original. You just scroll, and then you're like, man or the bear? That's so funny.
I think you might want to go get checked for an aneurysm.
We're heart-centered. We love women.
I don't think you do.
To admit, like, hey, maybe I am puking my trauma on other people.
Do you have some mommy issues?
About the woman or the bear, huh?
Oh, way to really stick it to him.
The woman or the bear? I'd much rather live in a cave with bears than a woman.
I'd rather live in a cave. Doesn't matter about men, women, or bears. I just would really like to live in a cave.
Because bears don't fucking get on this app and complain all the time.
Could you imagine if they did come on here? I know my first question would be, do you shit in the woods?
Bears are chill. Like, you even have a good history with...
I love that. Her first question would be, do you shit in the woods?
This dude is so annoying. Why is he out of breath? He's trying to be so animated. And
well, because he's so hot from wearing the damn hat in the house to cover up his,
I want to smash his face in. That was a little violent. The way he's just way up into the camera and screaming everything he's saying is just like, shut the fuck up. Did you ask me to pause it, Pearl?
No, can you pause at the end of this little video?
Yeah.
Just a couple of seconds more, but this beauty here.
Bears, Goldilocks.
Yeah, that's about enough of that.
What got me about that guy just was that, first of all, as his ranting face was close into the camera, that there are lots of women in his life who have seen exactly that face, spitting venom right up against theirs. You can guarantee it. Also, I have yet to meet a woman who is offended by the notion that a man might choose the bear. If a man chooses the bear, my attitude would be, okay. Anyway, I'm not offended by it. It doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't matter.
I'm just thinking one less man I need to be worried about.
Yeah. This notion that some of these guys have that women would be equally offended by men choosing the bear has no basis whatsoever. It's just like, you're just another guy then who won't be around to harass a woman. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but it's my honest opinion.
Anyway. I mean,
Anyway.
if you feel safer with the bear, then choose the bear, fool.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And you go for it. I'm not worried at all.
All right, if that's how you really feel, but now you're just, I see, yeah.
Men's response to this whole man or bear thing has been incredibly emotional. Women are basically saying, hey, I don't like being around strange men in scenarios I can't control. Then the conversation goes something like this. Why not? Why not? And women go, well, I mean, my daily experience says that strange men are not safe. I mean, think about sexual assault. Think about, whoa. All men are rapists? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? And they're like, no, but certainly some are. And then like just throwing stats and talking about alligators and babies. Come on, man. Like an honest look at this conversation, and the emotion is very much centered on the man's side. Like, come on.
Can you pause a second? One of the ones that I didn't want to use because I would have had to cut down a much larger discussion was a guy saying that on average, now, obviously, an average goes from women who don't leave the house to women who work, say, on a train ticket barrier or something, who have loads of men pass them every day. So that's how the average works. There will be extremes. He was making the point that on average, a woman is in the vicinity of 300 men in a 24-hour period. And then made the point that only one man in 1,000 is likely to have physically attacked a woman. And I sat there and thought, Guy, that math isn't the math that you think it is. You're saying to me then that on average, every third day, I'm in the vicinity of a man who could do me violence. And I'm meant to be chill with that.
Yeah. Yeah, you should be okay with that. Uh-huh.
Yeah. No.
Okie dokie. I don't get what, never mind. I'm a little surprised that this is still a conversation, and it's men.
The guy at the end.
They just don't understand that we as women from a very young age have had to, ward off creepy men.
Well, I mean,
to the point that that lots of women have had their mums have had a conversation with them, or the grands have had a conversation with them before family events. It will be along the lines of, "Oh, an uncle so and so. Don't be sitting on his lap."
Right.
Seriously, even family functions.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. It's nothing personal. If it ain't about you, then don't worry about it. But unfortunately, this is something that women do have to deal with and have always had to. Okay, here we go.
Would you rather be stuck in the woods with a woman or a bear?
Oh, I think I can answer this on behalf of most men. Maybe not all, but most. But the answer is we're going to choose the bear 100 times out of 100. Why? Well, very simple. If the bear chooses to take us out, it's going to be over fairly quickly. Yeah, there might be a little pain. Yeah, it might not be fun. But relatively speaking, it'll be over soon. We'll be out of our misery. But getting into a relationship with a woman, oh, that's going to be a pain that lasts and lasts and lasts. It's going to be a slow, agonizing, torturous death. One that will never seem to be coming to an end. One that we're going to have to relive over and over and over again. So yeah, ladies, I'm sorry to tell you, but we're going to choose the bear also. But I got a better idea. How about neither one of us choose the bear? You go your way, we'll go ours. We men will be perfectly happy with that because the bottom line is this. Either way, we're the ones that come out ahead. We no longer have to deal with the drama. No longer.
This guy.
This simpleton. Oh, God. I got a feeling he's single. And it's fine. If that's how he feels, then okay.
Yeah, cool. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Am I meant to be offended?
I think we are meant to be offended. We're meant to be desperately worried that he might not look at us the same way again.
That's okay.
Not only do I suspect that he's single, I suspect also that he has 5 angry exes, and he's also got another woman that he would quite like to take down the aisle. It's always the same way. It's like, guy, if you're always involved in these terrible relationships, choose better. If you're only getting 20 fish, look at the value of your bait.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Or maybe it's you.
I got a feeling he's that guy.
Yeah.
No longer have to deal with the narcissism. No longer have to.
He said the word.
Oh, God. Oh, God. If you people don't stop using these freaking words that are incorrectly used all the time, stop saying.
Oh, come on now, Soup. That's a man. You know he's so smart.
And
he doesn't get anything wrong.
Please stop saying gaslit or gaslighting. And do you all know that is actually a form of psychological abuse? And when we're just throwing these terms out here because we can't think of another word, so we just want to reach for the stars and the biggest word we can find, you are simplifying the words. I want narcissism taken out of everybody's vocabulary. I don't know when it got here. I'm thinking around 2019, 2020, and it's still following me. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, I love a good soup rant.
Deal with inane arguments about whether us or the bear is safer. We get to go do what we want to do best. Enjoy life and live in peace.
Guy, I wish you all the best. Go ahead and do it. No one's worried. The inane argument going on was just a question. The conversation that's now going on is men talking to other men about why men are like this.
Uh-oh.
Recently, there's been a viral question on the internet, and it's, if you were alone in the woods, who would you rather be alone with, a man or a bear? And kind of unsurprisingly, a lot of women chose the bear, because the worst thing that a bear could do to you is maul you to death and eat you alive, which is, trust me, it's an absolutely shitty way to go. But that's probably, most likely, the worst thing that a bear could do to you. A man could do so many other things, and probably even worse. And I absolutely get why women would choose the bear over the man. I mean, just take a look at our history. You don't even have to go that far. You don't have to go to ancient history. Just take a look at our recent history. You'll see so many heinous acts of crime and violence of many kinds done by men to women. I get that. I mean, a lot of people get that, but a lot of dude bros, they were pressed. A lot of guys were like offended because a lot of like women chose to be alone with a bear rather than a man. If you're one of those dudes who were offended or who took it personally, I mean, I get it. Statistically, a random man probably won't do anything to a woman more often than not. And a bear would most likely always try to eat you. But the way a lot of these dudes who were pressed try to convey their frustration on, like, the answers, it just doesn't help their case. Like, a lot of the dudes who were offended, they were like, oh, I hope the bear eats you, and I hope he eats you alive. When the bear starts ripping chunks out of you, don't call for help. I won't help you. You chose the bear over me. There was even that one post on Twitter where one dude drew a comic where the woman chooses the bear over the man, and then in the next panel, the bear violently eats the woman. To the men who do this, please, it is not helping your case. You are just making people choose the bear even more. Do you really think that drawing a bear eating a woman violently is an aha, gotcha moment? It's not. It is absolutely not. And why are you so affected whenever someone chooses the bear over the man? Like, if you're not the kind of man that women should fear, then you shouldn't be affected by this. You should just be chill, dude. It's like still being offended whenever someone says men are trash. If you're just a regular normal ass dude, you'd understand the meaning behind that statement, that yes, men are capable of doing bad shit. If you're still the dude to react to that statement like, oh, not all men, not me, I'm a good guy, I am a good guy, not all men, not all men, why do you feel the need to defend yourself whenever you hear shit like this? Just relax, just be chill about it. If you're offended whenever someone chooses the bear over the man, or if you're pressed whenever someone says men are trash, that just says a lot about you, and not in a good way.
Okay, so you're probably wondering why I'm out here in the woods alone. I came out here for some clarity and to say that I think I have a greater understanding now about this whole man versus bear thing. Women, when they see me, are more likely to be afraid of me than a bear. Because how often do you see a bear? You're not really afraid of bear, but they see men all the time and they are afraid of them. And while that didn't make sense to me because I internalized it, I made it about me. Obviously, I'm out here in the woods. I'd much rather see a man than a bear, but that's me. I feel like I could defend myself against a man. I don't walk through the world afraid of bears. That's my perspective, but that's not a woman's perspective. So I tried to make it, so how do I understand what women are saying? And it clicked to me when I said, you know what? Anytime I see a police officer as a black man, I'm afraid.
I thought about that last week. That right there. If anybody could probably relate, it would be this situation right here. Let's hear what he has to say.
In the back of my mind, I have a level of anxiety. If a police car pulls up next to me or is behind me, I have a very palpable fear every time until they drive away. I never want to encounter a police officer ever. If a police officer started walking through this woods, I would be afraid. Now, if I saw a bear, I'd have some fear. However, I know exactly kind of what's going on with the bear. But with a cop, I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't have to be doing anything wrong. I know that a situation with a police officer, I have a knowledge of things that can go wrong. I've been mistreated by a police officer in interactions where I'm like, this is not fair, and I'm powerless to do anything about it. So I get it. I'd rather see a bear than a cop in these woods. Now, I have to be okay with the fact that a random woman seeing me might be afraid. I have to be okay with that and not take that personal. That's just her experience. I can't change how she feels. And all I can really do in my life is try to be a good man, be a good husband, raise good sons, teach my daughters to know what a good man looks like by being an example of one. That's all I can do. This random woman who's afraid of me, that's not on me. It's not on me. That's on her, and that's her journey, and that sucks for her.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That's our burden to bear, unfortunately, and not yours. And thank you for that.
And why is that so difficult for other men to say?
I don't
But
know.
this guy is not, he knows it's not about him as an individual. In the same way as somebody could say, oh, well, my son is a cop and he would never do that. And
Right.
intellectually, this guy knows that could be true, but he also knows his physical and emotional response when
Yeah.
he sees a police officer in his vicinity. And he's able to take that and see that point of view as a woman with the possibility that a man could behave in any unpredictable way. And
Very.
he's not offended by it. He says at first his gut reaction was, but he took a moment to think and try and see what would get a woman to that situation. And he immediately was able to compare it with his own experience
Mhm.
of how he feels when he sees a police officer. Now, the fact that there are men who cannot put themselves in a situation of finding the thing that makes them feel that way. It might not necessarily be a human being, it could be a situation, but they can't make that thought process or they've never experienced that process. That is why they're so angry. They can't
Mhm.
understand because they've never been in that position of unpredictability.
Exactly.
And it's a sense of entitlement that they've
Yes,
got
it is. It
and
very much.
privilege that they
Yeah.
can't understand and will refuse to imagine a situation where they would feel that way. This guy just gets it.
Well, it's kind of like Pearl when white people get offended when, you know, black
I've
people
seen
have.
I've seen the variety of this where it goes white woman or bear, and for the same reason they pick bear because the unpredictability of the white woman. We've all seen these instances of Karen phoning the police and a black guy, sort of barbecuing
Right?
or just walking in Central Park, and saying, put your dog on the lead, all these sort of things. That he has the sort of temerity to live his life as an individual in a way that a white woman finds offensive. And the way that white women are like that with black women as well.
Mhm.
I don't mean every single white woman is that way.
No.
When I've got friends who are of colour, friends of different ethnicities, and Indigenous friends who make a comment about white women, I know that they're saying it about white women with capital letters, white woman,
Yeah.
as just like we use Karen. We know what that means.
Mhm.
I know they're not talking about me, but heck, I do know the women that they're talking about. I know
Yeah.
what they're like to individuals. I know that when prejudice comes into play, on top of their sort of personality issues, that they can be vile people and they
Yeah.
will happily create situations where they are a victim and somebody needs to pay. I would
Yes.
be just as wary.
And I'm glad that this man was able to put himself in our shoes and understand that level of anxiety that comes over you. Uh, when you see a cop is when we see a man alone in the woods. Look, I'm not saying I wouldn't have anxiety seeing a bear too, but I'm going to take my odds on, yeah.
But I can't really do anything to change it. And I have to accept that. And because I do accept it, there's peace. I'll just try to be a good man like I've tried to be for the last 44 years. And that's what I'm going to do. Society sucks sometimes. And there are a lot of a-holes out there who have made women afraid of all of us. And that is a shame. So I try with every interaction I have with women to be an example of a good man. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out of these woods because I actually think I do hear a siren.
I love how he ended that.
This was the original intent and hope behind my man or bear in the woods scenario, was to get men to ask this question: how do we fix it? It's a simple question, and I have a simple answer. The next time you see a man making a disgusting, vile, or objectifying comment towards a woman on this app, make a video response calling it out. It can't be a comment. It has to be a video response. You have to use your face and your voice. Why? Because you're scarier than the bear. Yes, you're shy. You're introverted. You don't want to be perceived. You're scared to do it even. Show the world that you care enough about other people to do it anyway. Show women that you're willing to give up a small amount of your personal peace for a big amount of their safety. And it does translate into safety, because calling other men out on here is a safe way to practice calling them out in real life. Now, here's some disclaimers about this video, because I know how everyone gets. First of all, I don't want to take credit for starting this whole avalanche. It's not an original thought. It was in the Bible. But in the last few days, I've seen a lot of people make up stories about the origin and the original intent. I underestimated everyone's need for a canonical source for this stuff, and I'm right here, so I might as well speak up. It's like, nobody can ever take full credit for anything. We're a society and a community. I'm just a guy who shouts at his phone like twice a day, and I happen to shout something that echoed. And to all the people, men, who claim I started World War III and all of this is just for divisiveness. Dude, the divisiveness was already there. The avalanche was already forming. A lot of people think the street interview guy started it, but go back and look at his caption. He says it was already trending at the time, and then look at the date. Again, I don't care about the credit. I'm just trying to answer all of the questions that I've seen 1,000 times. I didn't know how hungry you all were for the lore.
Great video, Pearl.
Thank you, darlings. I mean, obviously, it's all about the conversation that's been going on. I do appreciate the quite controversial for some suggestion that the guy at the end makes, which is calling out bad behaviour is where it's all got to begin. Until you can, and the most difficult situation is when it's people that you know. And this is true with issues about the way that men talk about women, issues about the way that we talk about the LGBTQ community, the way that we talk about races. Difficult conversations, when you can call out people that you love on the things that they do, that is the strongest thing. It's so easy to say nothing.
Right. But then they think you're okay with it. I'm one of those that you tell me an inappropriate joke and I don't find it funny, I'm going to tell you why I don't think it's funny.
I ain't laughing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing. I'm not kikiing. No.
Well, you can imagine I'm the same. You know
Oh,
me.
no.
I'll always go along to get along. That's me.
Nope.
Sure, Pearl.
Oh dear. But anyway, I pretty much see that as the end spot of our conversation about man versus baby, because I think that the two guys at the end summed up the situation, which is identify why women feel like this by extrapolating from your own experience of things. And if you can't imagine it, then you need to sit with the idea that you have such an amount of privilege that you're just responding to not being privileged, not being the most important person in the conversation. And then the guy at the end who started the TikTok question of saying, call stuff out. But some of the guys who were like really, really offended, when the guy said, I've been accused of starting World War III, I mean, some of these guys are really hung up on the notion that this has just been created in some way to help create even division between men and women. It isn't. It has always been an undercurrent of that. This has just been one of those situations where the top has been cracked and everybody can, everything has bubbled out, that it was always there under the surface. This is a TikTok conversation that could have happened anywhere. If you'd have got a group together, a group of women, no men around, in a private room, and said to them the whole man versus bear question. I know that some of them would have said, bear, it's not performative. They're not trying to make men feel bad or to make men feel any kind of way.
No.
It is purely a question to them and their response. That's it.
I mean, and there's always going to be that guy, like that one guy who used the word narcissist incorrectly, surprisingly. that's going to get
He looks so smart, though.
He thought he was. Again, you're using words incorrectly because I don't know why, but I wish it would stop. But there's always going to be those dudes. Like Pearl said, he's probably got 5 angry exes.
Right.
You know, he's pissed off about child support. Hell, I don't know. But calm down. You know, just relax a little bit, Baldy.
I just find it hilarious because in my experience, the guys who were most vocal about not wanting anything to do with women are the guys who were like out there speed dating, out there on Tinder. You know, they've always got their eye on a neighbour. It's sort of like, fine then, live up to your word. You say you're not interested in women, give it up then. Because to me, you seem obsessed. What you mean is you can't stand the women who don't fall into the behaviour that you want
Right.
them to have.
That's what I was going to say. He doesn't like women that he can't control.
Absolutely. Like I said, I think he's got 5 angry exes, and he's also got his eye on a mail order bride. He just strikes me as that dude.
He'll end up on 90 Day Fiance in the future, you know. Stars my husband didn't
with
get
a little tiny sensor thing.
Right. My husband didn't get the least bit offended. I mean, I asked him very simply, didn't tell him anything behind it, without hesitation. A bear.
The men in my life either. They all said, "Oh yeah, bear."
But I think that speaks to the fact that these are the men that we allow into our lives, the sort of men who can get it.
Yeah.
I mean that in all senses of the get it. We wouldn't be with the guys who don't get it.
Exactly.
And for my husband, this wasn't no political bullshit, no divisive bullshit. He doesn't care about any of that. Trust, he doesn't. It was simple. You know, it was just simple. But yeah, I agree. Pearl is a good place to end it. I think that wraps up the bear conversation, man versus. Yes. Well, it's still going on over on TikTok.
Yeah, they're going to have to carry on without me. I'm not a big fan of TikTok, but this question is the thing that sucked me in, and I feel like I'm TikToked out for now. Thanks very much. It was some of the guys were really, really angry to the point that I did not want to trigger anybody in our chat by, you know, it would have been an easy thing to take those videos and put them here as sort of spectacle. But the thing is, some of them were so angry. I mean, that guy with the hat was as angry as I was willing to get. Any more than that.
The guy yelling.
Yes, I think he actually gets to that point where he could, if somebody's been in an abusive relationship, it could be triggering. And while I'm not one of the most oversensitive people, I don't want people to feel bad by watching it. His face up against the camera at the end of his bit where he was ranting or frothing was enough. That was the extreme that I was willing to go. But believe me, there are far angrier men than that out there on TikTok. And some of them seem to be willing to cut chunks off women just to prove a point. What their point is, I don't know. They've gone beyond the question and are now just focused on the whole, as if they've been personally turned down. She's not intended to marry the guy. Marry the bear, my guy. You know, she's not. This is not an option taken out of your league. You know, these women were not interested in you anyway, and they're not interested in settling down with the bear. It was just a question.
A very simple question.
You are flipping out. Says everything.
It does. It often does, and people don't seem to understand that that's very telling of who they are as well when they're flipping out over something that simple. If it doesn't apply, you know, just let it
fly.
Yeah. All right, ladies, are we done for the night?
I think so, unless there's anything else that you want to talk about. We really need to, even these shorter lives, we need to just start hitting these lives and getting them out. We're tending to let the days, I mean, at least we're here again, we're tending to let it sort of slide by. Everything is so complicated.
It's easy
what I
to
do want to say before we go is, TJ, we love you very much. I'm sorry that you don't feel very well. And also, I would be so glad to get Six Up back home.
Almost.
She has been having some medical treatment, nothing to do with any sort of addiction or any of that fuckery that people assume. Just a straightforward, had to get something done, and he's been recovering, and we'll be so glad to have her back. So please, we can't wait to get you back on here, Six. But please take care of yourself.
Yes, we miss you.
We miss you, Six Up.
I heard a couple of stray speculations out there.
Oh.
Hey, you're going to get it tonight. I'm so glad.
Yay, Haven.
Yay.
Be careful, please.
I heard a couple of negative Nancy saying, "Oh, Six Up's been missing in action." Calm your jets.
You have to give her a hug for me,
There's
Haven.
no big drama. People have things happen in their private life. Sort of.
They
you
take
might
time
need
off.
to have surgery on your jaw. You might need to have some other procedure done somewhere else. These things happen. It doesn't mean that she's suddenly been kicked out of the community or something nefarious. You just want to hear that. That's what you would like. You want the gossip. No, sorry to disappoint. She'll be back soon.
I was about to say that. Yeah, sorry to disappoint you, but she'll be back soon. Just relax.
I would also like to make an announcement, public service announcement.
Oh, God.
Not every troll in every chat is Magpie. I was told not to talk about it somewhere else, so I thought I would do it on my own platform. Magpie has Magpie 1.0 and 2.0 and 3.0, but Magpie isn't trolling the old pigeon.
No, and if she
Heidi
had
got
to
it
go in
wrong
under a
again.
different name, if she had to
Brought
go
to
into
you
your
by
channel,
Cornbread.
What?
Yes, Cornbread was the person the pigeon. Yes.
Oh.
I tried to squeeze that in for him.
That's right.
I promise you, from what I know of Magpie, if she was coming in under a different name because she needed to get into the channel to say something, she would tell you. The first thing out of her mouth would be, "This is Magpie." Even if the name was different, it would be, "This is Magpie."
Right. When she has used other names in the past, like Raccoon and something else, she has made it clear that it was her. So
They always get it
all of her
wrong.
different Magpie names will have been blocked. So she doesn't
Stars,
have
but she
needs to
knows
say
all.
something. She's got to come in under a different name, but she will always start with, "This is Magpie." Just stop with your obsession that she is every single troll. I don't know what your Magpie obsession is, but Magpie is a very straightforward person. Everything that I've experienced of Magpie is that she will tell you what she's thinking about something. She doesn't need to do that sort of nefarious troll business. She would rather just deal with it head on. And that's my experience of her. And Heidi, you need to reel it in.
Magpie 25.0 isn't taken yet. So, if Magpie has stuff to say, she'll go use her name. So, I don't know. I'm going to
Love
just
you, ladies.
start
I'm
saying,
gonna shut down.
okay, I'm just going to start saying, random stuff like it's true and just roll with it, and when somebody tries to correct me, I'm just going to be like, yeah, no, too bad. Block. It's so absurd.
It seems to be the fashion. You just randomly decide that a troll is this person, and that's what you do. You go on about it.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to make that public service announcement.
I was really grateful that you actually said it in that channel. I knew the response that you'd get back.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I don't care.
It is seriously.
I think she blocked me.
I think she did block you. It is seriously one of the things that I've always admired about you is that you will go in and say the thing that needs to be said, even though you know that they don't want to hear it. It's for the benefit of everybody else in the chat that they don't fall into the same stupidity. Now, where you were is a lost cause, but the theory is sound.
Right. It was for all the people that watch from the bushes so that they would know, like, it's not Magpie. Everybody knows it's not Magpie, except about 4 idiots.
Yeah.
And even those 4 idiots know it's not, but they're not willing to come off of it because I don't even know why. They just being dumb, I guess. It makes them look dumb, but you don't let them do true crime. Can you imagine? They don't get anything right.
No, nothing. I can't wait to find out what Soup's package is. I'm obsessed with Soup's post because it's her granddaughter's birthday coming up, and a lot of internet aunties have been sending their little gifts their way. So I'm obsessed with the box openings.
Yeah.
It's fun to give kids. It's fun to give anybody gifts, but kids are like the best.
Yeah, for the kids especially, I do. I really do enjoy
I
it.
love it.
Are you heard Mabel is Heidi?
Oh, Mabel's Heidi.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah,
That's
that makes
fair.
sense. That makes
Fair.
so much sense. I see it now.
Yeah, I think Stars is right. I think Stars
Yeah.
is completely right.
Flippin' Mabel is Yaya. Mm-mm-mm.
Well, she did say that Heidi said that she's Mabel's bitch. So,
Or the bitch Mabel.
yeah.
You know.
Perhaps that was a confession. Perhaps it's actually
Right?
Gizmo. Doesn't
Perhaps
need
that's
opposable
it.
thumbs to type.
Alrighty. Are you ready to call it a night?
Yes.
I think so. I think a
Good
good
night,
solid
everyone.
hour and a half of real content is better than 3 hours of burbling on,
I
chewing on
agree.
mic, and going out for a cigarette.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, thank you everyone for being here. We appreciate you, and hopefully we'll see you real soon.
Good
Night,
night.
everyone. You're embarrassing yourself. Go to bed.
Good night.